democracy is about using all of the new tools that we use in our day-to-day life, like an ATM or a mobile, all the technologies that underline that, to better engage with government and better engage with the decision-making process.
It's clearly one component of a much larger set of elements that make up your kind of democratic ecosystem.
FutureDemocracy, I've been running it for 5 or 6 years now. It comes out of a passion I've had for a long time about the use of the internet in politics and to improve the workings of democracy. Our event covers all aspects of using the internet and new technologies to improve the democratic process. So we started the day with our keynote speaker was Will Straw, who is an editor of a prominent political blog, and he looked at how political blogging has developed, perhaps from a few individuals having a big impact in isolation, to now, these days, much more groups coming together, forming joint blogs, a bit more like publications.
I think the challenge for us is to build up a community of people who are both contributors and the audience. I don't see this as being a kind of flowchart where we have people in the policy world who are feeding information down to all these other people who are interested. I think this group is this group, and the key thing is to create that community.
We run events in a few different areas, and this is always the one with the most buzz, perhaps. It's an area that people love to come and discuss and debate, and I think today that's certainly been the case. There's definitely been a lot of discussion, a lot of debate, and people enjoy the networking too. We've had people coming from across Europe, which is great to see. Italy, Greece, Denmark, France, Germany. So that exchange is very good to see as well.
My interest right now is in Central and Eastern Europe. And I think we face some very different kinds of issues than Western Europe does. The main problem is that there's not an interest in participation. Elected officials don't see citizens as partners, so there isn't really even the capacity to use a lot of these kinds of tools.
We're a group from Sweden. We work with local authorities and regions in Sweden, and we have a mission from the local politicians to help them to develop methods for participation, citizen participation. And now we are starting a work with implementing e-petitions in municipalities in Sweden. So it's interesting to hear about the experiences from Kingston and Bristol and so on.
I thought the Haringey Online and Citizenscape presentations were very interesting, real practical examples of initiatives that are taking place outside the local authority within communities, which the councils, authorities are starting to listen to.
We've had workshops looking at political campaigning, how the Obama campaign, how that might apply. Some of the lessons might apply to Europe, some of them might not.
I thought it was quite interesting because although on the panel there were people from Labour and Tories as well as myself, I think all of us actually were painting a fairly similar picture in terms of our view about the potential for the internet, but also how in many ways British politics is different from US politics, and you can't simply say, well, what Barack Obama did must be what we should do in the UK. It's great the way this conference has brought together people from a very wide range of different places and organisations and outlooks, and it means we've got, I think, quite an interesting discussion, often quite in-depth, but also, for example, the questions that were asked in my session I thought were very good and very insightful, and I think hopefully those will have brought out more information and more interest to people.
I found the young people session very powerful though, because a lot of individual stories were told, and it's all very hard to talk about these things in the abstract.
But my name is Tom Robbins. I ran a campaign for random acts of kindness through Battlefront last year. The campaign ran for about 9 months, and I guess I am an example of someone who got engaged with political ideas online.
That was quite a fun lesson, watching how a young person can take an initiative, go out there, do something, and suddenly the big, wide political world will listen and respond to it.
We've looked at how the internet can help open up, put more transparency into Parliament in the wake of the expenses affair.
I think e-democracy is so important and so relevant, in as much as I overturned a 26,000 majority to become an MP. And e-campaigning has always been a major part of my strategy and my planning. And I think a lot of politicians have been very late to the table and still haven't quite got it. So So I think conferences like this e-democracy one today are incredibly important to spread the word. If you engage, and there's no better way than engaging through e-democracy, then you are breaking down some of those barriers and you're being accessible and people see you as a person and not so much as one of those terrible MPs.
I think it's gone extremely well, and I think different people will take away different things, and hopefully it'll carry on as well. They'll keep engaging on our blog, and they will look at the presentations on the website, and it's just the beginning, hopefully, of conversations and networks.